The 99 Grid Score is built around 9 areas. We'll be looking at things like visual clarity, user habits, system functionality, error prevention, flexibility and user control, and many others. We'll use the same approach for every analysis we do and come back with one score that will allow us to see which company has used their resources well and designed the best customer experience with their digital products. Right? It sounds simple enough, which it isn't. It took us quite a lot of work to actually put it together. However, looking back at the insurance sector as a whole, or as the products or insurance products are concerned, there's a lot of negative emotions associated with insurance, right? So the product itself, it's really a promise on a piece of paper, like I said, and it's not a promise of being safer, really. It's just a promise that if something does happen, the insurance company will have you covered. Which brings us to another element, which is the using of the product itself through claims, and that's, again, in the eyes of the customer, seems to be another way to get confused. And it's not the easiest of products to buy, let me tell you. So definitely an exciting venture ahead of us. So let's start with the insurance sector in Europe. That's what I wanted to kind of, dive a little bit deeper into. We'll take the biggest brands and compare them in the same way, looking at the, to quote Dr. Muro, quirks and features of their products.
Corvette ZR1 and all of its quirks and features.
And see where we land, okay? One thing that I have to mention, though, is that it's my own assessment of those products, and I have no way of knowing what were the circumstances of them being designed, what was the budget, what was the competence of the teams, what was the deadline, and therefore what kind of decisions had to be made in that context. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm not trying to be critical of what those teams have created. I know how difficult the design process is and how many variables it can affect it. All I'm trying to do is provide support and maybe highlight a few issues that might have been overlooked, and when fixed, could deliver better experiences for all of us as customers. So yeah, so let's get cracking. I hope that's okay. Okay, so for the start of the ranking, I've chosen 3 countries, and namely that's Germany, United Kingdom, and Spain. And the choice of those countries is pretty specific, as you might imagine. It's not like I just came up with those randomly. I did to an extent, obviously, but not that much. They all have a car manufacturing as one of their economy sectors. And since we'll be looking at car insurance to start with, I thought it could be an interesting combination to see, if there is a car manufacturing happening in a certain country, does it affect it in any way, etc. But that I'm just a motorhead, kind of petrol head freak, so maybe that's why. But another reason is that each country has a very unique approach to car insurance business model. And if you look at UK, Spain, and Germany, each one of those countries has a mandatory coverage when it comes to the third-party liability, and that's pretty common. But the market structure is actually slightly different, because if you look at UK, it's extremely and highly competitive, and it's price comparison led, so that's the main thing. For Spain, it's mostly bank assurance, and the direct insurers, it's a growing market there, so it's not as major as it is in UK. And for Germany, it's kind of similar to Poland, like where I'm based, when it's a mix of direct sales, brokers, and agents. So specifically brokers and agents, forming a bigger part of the pie. So each one of those countries has a vastly different market structure. When it comes to the role of brokers per se, it's very much declining due to aggregators in the UK, so that's a major factor. And when it comes to Spain, they play a limited role because banks dominate the distribution due to the bank assurance channel. And in Germany, still very significant role of the brokers and agents. When it comes to another differentiator, it might be interesting to add that in UK, the popular add-ons for insurance are like roadside assistance and legal cover. For Spain, it's a collision cover as well as natural disaster. And then for Germany, it's kind of partial mid-casco and a full coverage as an add-on to the actual insurance. And maybe just a few things that kind of brings us up to speed when it comes to the electric vehicles policy kind of penetration for UK is very advanced. When it comes to Spain, I would say is more of an emerging part of the sector when it comes to sales. And for Germany, it's pretty moderate. So that's one. And throughout the advancement of technologies and looking at some of those telematics solutions that are available in the market, we've been part of a few of those projects ourselves at 99Grid. But in UK is definitely a high adoption of that telematics solution when it comes to young drivers, pay-as-you-drive solutions. For Spain, it's pretty low, but it's definitely growing. And for Germany, it's, I would say, again, kind of a moderate adoption of that. Yeah, so that kind of brings us back to our little journey. That's the breakdown of the structure of the insurance sector for those three major players in the market.